What's up guys, welcome on our shelf, and this is the iPhone 6. But you wouldn't know that, right? It looks just like the iPhone 7. You couldn't tell just by looking at it, could you? And that's a good thing, it's not a bad thing, because I can take the case off of this phone and put it on my new phone, the iPhone 7, right? Wrong. And it's a shame because I really like that case. So today is September 7th, 2016. I am in line at the Apple Store waiting to pick up my reserved iPhone 7 in the matte black color. After being in line for 35 minutes, I am back home unboxing my iPhone. If you missed that video, here it is right here in the upper right hand corner. Just click on it, it'll take you straight to it. But I should tell you it's the exact same video that you're watching right now, just a lot slower. Inside the box, there's an iPhone 7, of course, a Lightning to USB cable, 5-watt USB power adapter, and a Lightning to 3.5mm headphone jack adapter. So here is the iPhone 6 and 7 side by side, and it's kind of hard to tell the difference between the two of them just by looking at them. Looking at the bottom is the easiest way to tell in my opinion. On the right hand side we have a speaker, no longer a headphone jack, and on the left hand side we have our microphone now. To some people it's a big deal that the auxiliary jack is missing. Me, I could care less. I don't know when the last time I actually used the auxiliary jack. The radio in my car is Bluetooth, all of my headphones are Bluetooth, and I have like a million Bluetooth speakers laying around the house, so not a big deal at all to me. And for those of you who do use the auxiliary jack, they do include this little dongle, which looks kinda tacky, but at least they include it. On the left side, volume controls and mute switch. Up top, nice and clean. Right side, sleep wake button and SIM card tray. On the back of the phone, we have a 12 megapixel camera with a f1.8 aperture. It records at up to 4K video at 30 frames per second. This time around, the body of the phone kind of molds around the camera lens, so it gives it a slightly cleaner look, but the lens still bulges out, but it looks slightly cleaner this time. In the middle, a microphone, and to the right of that, a quad LED True Tone flash. So here are some sample pictures and videos that were shot with this phone, inside and out, day and night. I can tell you hands down that the iPhone 7 is one of the best camera phones on the market, hands down. Can't be denied. And year over year, they make little bitty improvements. This time around, I'm noticing a lot more color and a lot more exposure coming through, so the photos definitely look more vibrant than before. Also, this camera focuses extremely fast on its subjects, so that's good for taking quick photos. While we're on the camera subject, I want to show you this footage we took underwater with the iPhone 7. It is IP67 certified, so it should be able to go in up to 3 feet of water. Apple doesn't recommend you do this, but here's some footage we took in a 150-gallon aquarium. The phone was not damaged at all, by the way, but doing this will void your warranty. As for the front of the phone, we have an ambient light sensor, a speaker giving you 2 total, so now you have stereo speakers, and a 7 megapixel front facing camera, which records in up to 1080p HD video. Roscoe volunteered to take a selfie and a video for you all. He's happy, by the way, he always looks like this. On a side note, I know this feature is a year old, but I totally forgot how fun live photos were, especially when just swiping through. I can't stop doing it. I'm still playing with this even a year later. As for the new home button, it's different, takes a little while to get used to, but I have to say Apple nailed the design. It feels weird at first because it doesn't actually click, In fact, it doesn't move at all. But once you turn the phone on and touch that area, it vibrates, giving you the illusion that it's clicking. And it feels legit. In fact, it actually feels more responsive to me. Plus, you can customize the click sensitivity. Now, this beautiful display that you're looking at is pretty much unchanged from last year. In fact, from the last 2 years. You have a 1334 by 750 pixel resolution at 326 ppi with a contrast ratio of 1400:1 on an HD Retina display. The biggest difference this time around is that you have a higher color gamut, a P3 color gamut, which is going to give you more vivid and vibrant colors. And the screen itself is actually supposed to be 25% brighter. So this is still one of the best smartphone screens on the market, but in my opinion, I will still give a slight edge to the Galaxy Note 2 and the Galaxy S7. Those AMOLED displays are just breathtaking. Next up, performance. As you know, Apple takes little bitty steps every single year to improve performance, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that because the iPhone is known for being a pretty fast phone. And this time around, they did it again. We now have Apple's new A10 Fusion chip, a quad-core CPU with 2 gigs of RAM. So the phone is extremely snappy, extremely quick. Load times are really fast for apps, especially ones that have been optimized for iOS 10. When you're in one of those situations where you need to whip out your phone and take a quick picture, done. Logging in really fast with the fingerprint reader, done. We're just lucky people. We're in a time now where performance with these high-end phones is not even an issue anymore. And for a lot of people, these are their primary gaming machines. And for good reason, they handle games extremely well. So when it comes to performance on the iPhone 7, it just went from an A+ with the iPhone 6s to an A++ with the iPhone 7. Not to mention, we finally have stereo speakers with the iPhone 7. They're facing opposite directions, but they're there. So playing games, watching movies, you get a more immersed experience now. So how does this performance affect battery life? Well, first off, we're up from 1715 milliamps with the iPhone 6s to 1960 milliamps with the iPhone 7. And Apple's telling us that overall we're supposed to get about 2 hours more of battery life than the iPhone 6s. So I'm not going to read off Apple's specific specs for battery life, but I will say this is where the phone disappoints me. Standby time and playing music on the iPhone 7, great. I wouldn't be surprised if this phone could go up to 10 days on standby time and play 2 days of audio through headphones nonstop. That wouldn't surprise me at all, no complaints there. However, when it comes to playing games, browsing the internet, and watching videos, this is where the phone takes its biggest hit, and really every smartphone takes its biggest hit in those 3 areas. This phone particularly, after using it for a few weeks, on average I got anywhere between 4 to 5 hours of battery life. That's with mixed use, with a mixture of watching videos and browsing the web continuously. So it's not horrible, I wouldn't even say it's bad, but it's only slightly better than the 6s, and it's still not as good as phones like the S7 or the HTC 10. And if you want better battery life but you still want an iPhone, just get the 7 Plus. So now the last thing to cover is, why did I choose this color and why did I choose particularly this size iPhone, the iPhone 7, opposed to the 7 Plus? So I'll touch on the size first, and this really comes down to personal preference. So in my opinion, I think this is the perfect size for a smartphone, this size right here. And the reason is, again, personal reasons, it's the perfect size for my size hands. Now, I don't have really small hands, but I also don't have huge basketball player hands. I have, I would say, average size man hands. And this phone is perfect for me navigating with one hand. I have a 6 Plus and I also have a 6, and I never use the 6 Plus as my daily phone. I always use the 6. So this time around I didn't even bother. But the iPhone 7 Plus is clearly the better phone as far as the camera and battery life is concerned. Now, why did I choose this color? After all, there were 4 other colors to choose from. This is one of my favorite colors, and it hides the antenna lines unlike 3 of the other iPhone 7s. Apple calls it black, I'm gonna call it matte black, and it kind of reminds me of that Batman suit in The Dark Knight and that car, that Lamborghini that he drove in The Dark Knight. I just love that stealth look to it, so That's why I chose this color. So in conclusion guys, to me this phone is more of an evolution than a revolution. The last revolutionary iPhone that came out in my opinion was the iPhone 6 itself, 6 and 6 Plus I should say, with the larger screens. The 6S and 7 are just small upgrades to me, and that's fine because the iPhone itself is a great phone. Maybe there's something special coming around the corner for iPhone's 10th anniversary. But that wow factor I used to get every 2 years when there was a new iPhone coming out is no longer there. And it's not because the phones are bad, in fact they're the best that they've ever been. I think it's just because we're spoiled. Think about it, we have a phone that records in 4K, takes excellent pictures, has a high resolution screen, you can browse the internet, and you can play some amazing games on it. And that's just touching the surface. These phones do a whole lot more. So I really don't know what else they could do to give us that wow factor again. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. For my full list of pros and cons on this particular phone, I'll put that information down below. And for more information on this phone, I'll put a link below. Take care, I'll see you guys in our next video, and thanks for watching.